Hi girlies! Do you have trouble digesting things like dairy, or you're going through your gut healing journey and you're worried about reintroduction and you have some food fear around all that stuff? Well, that is what we are going to be diving into today, chatting all things gut health and a healthy body can digest foods like dairy, which I know sounds bizarre, but when we get the whole body working on a holistic approach, we are able to add foods in like this and the body can heal itself. And I know that because I just spent the whole weekend eating cheese and drinking wine and enjoying some time with friends before I head back to the States. And my entire body is totally fine, which is amazing because I remember all too well avoiding social situations, avoiding birthday parties, avoiding Christmases, well, not Christmases, but like holiday parties and stuff like that, because it was just too much. So if you are new to all of this, my name is Laura Martin. I am the creator and founder of Healing to Happy, where I help people that suffer from IBS and anxiety to heal using nutrition. We do this through a step-by-step approach, focusing on the metabolism, not just eliminating foods and all that kind of stuff, because it's just a bunch of food fear and it's a bunch of, like, I don't know about you, but when someone tells me, like, I got to a point where I was eliminating 13 different food groups and I was so afraid of food, and it just all around really took over my life. And what I actually had to be doing was looking, like, the problem and what the root of what I tell my girlies in Gut Recharge is that it's not the food that's the irritant, because a healthy body can digest all types of food, and that's what we're going to be diving into today, is that when you look at, when you start to re-up your digestive enzymes, when you look at like what we chatted about last week, which is like your liver function, and you get your metabolism going and going strong, you can digest these foods and function on an optimal level, not just keep eliminating foods that actually ends up doing worse for your body. So what I want to chat about today is the 5 ways to optimize your gut health for reintroduction. And I know a lot of people, when I jump into our private Facebook group, which is called Happy Gut Gang, if you want to head over there, a lot of people have a lot of food fear around, oh, like, how is my body going to react if I do add in cheeses? What's my body going to react like if I start adding in some other stuff like that, whatever it is that you eliminated? Like I was doing, oh my God, everything, like nightshades, cruciferous vegetables and all that kind of stuff. It was insane. So the first thing that you need to do is remove the gut irritants, and that does not mean cutting out things like gluten, dairy, soy, and all that kind of stuff, like that holistic stuff, even though, I mean, you may have to do that if you have a dairy, whatever, intolerance or irritant. But what you want to do is, if you can't tolerate these things, it means you have like, there's deeper rooted stuff going on. So you have to focus more on, this is where like you look at raw veggies and how that's irritating your gut, or like nuts and seeds and PUFAs. Like there's a big thing in this world right now where we're just like overdoing it on the nut butters and the seeds and handfuls of stuff like that, when really we should be focusing heavily on like protein and carbs and walking through that whole stuff, which is why going on these like low FODMAP and all that kind of stuff just like isn't the name of the game. It's looking at how is your gut digesting this stuff, what are the enzymes, and then also taking out inflammatory oils. Again, this has to do with PUFAs. We do a lot of our cooking, and this is like, I have a whole module on this of food sensitivities. We do a lot of our cooking in these high inflammatory foods, so often, or oils. And so oftentimes we're looking at food sources and not actually the way that we're cooking our foods, and we're doing things like things that have low flash points, or we're using, like, we love vegetable oils, and like, don't do that. If you're going to be cooking your foods, cook them in things like ghee or butter or water, like steam them. It's totally fine, something like that. So really focusing on that kind of stuff. So looking at, you want to remove irritants in your gut, which are like raw cruciferous vegetables. That's really, like, we love those big ass raw salads and wondering why we're bloated after it. Like, that's hard. Those fibers are hard to digest. And so if you're starting out on your gut healing journey, really making sure things like stews or steamed veggies, all that kind of stuff, not just like these big, it's different enzymes that have to be digested in each one. So if you can just cook your veggies, look at that, eliminating things like nuts and seeds, or cutting down on them. Like, you don't need to be eating them all day, every day. So looking and doing that. And if you do eat them, make sure that you're chewing them a lot, like gnaw on them so that they're easier to digest. And then avoiding inflammatory oils like vegetable oils, soybeans, sunflower, safflower, whatever all those oils are. So that's step 1. Step 2 is adding in gut supporting foods. And this is where you'll see things like gelatin and bone broth and collagen. And one of my favorite ones, I'm not gonna go get it, but if you get, it's just this, it's called Ancient Nutrition. I love their protein powder. 1, it's easy to digest. 2, it has collagen. 3, it's just a good source of protein. And it's bone broth as well. So things like that, getting in gut-loving, gut-supporting foods, do things great. So remove irritants, add in gut-supporting foods, and then you want to support your digestion. And this is such an underspoken about part of healing your gut, is like, how are you eating? Are you tapped into your rest and digest? And like, if you head over into gut happy or happy gut gang, you'll see that a big emphasis is on this gut-brain connection. So if you're stressed out up here, your body is not letting your body rest and digest and secrete those digestive enzymes. And so your blood flow is going to be going to your muscles in your brain. Because when we're in a hyperactive fight or flight kind of mode, which is like everyone nowadays, like everyone's like, oh, I'm not stressed or anything. Like everyone is. That's just, we live in the modern world. That's just how it works. But what we don't need to be doing is sitting on our phone while we're chatting or while we're eating. We don't need to be like hyperactive about work. And this is why I have the girlies in Gut Recharge. I really emphasize taking 4 deep belly breaths, like before and after your meals, so that you can tap into that rest and digest and really get those digestive enzymes going. Chewing your food, making sure you're not distracted, really just getting into the body while you're eating. And we always forget about this. Like, we love when we're suffering from food, we just want to point a finger, we want a quick fix, we want to say it's, or not suffering from food, when we're suffering from like bloating or IBS or constipation, we always want to point at food as opposed to looking at the whole picture. So it is, yes, you do have to look at what kind of irritants are happening in your body, but it's also, are you able to metabolize your food? And this is such a big, and like, I'll drop actually the link below. Let me put that in there for you guys. Copy into this comment, and I have a free masterclass that you guys can just pop into if you want to learn more about food sensitivities, where I'm diving more and more into this. Here, I'll put it right there. Diving deeper into this, because it's not just pointing a finger at the foods. It's looking at how you're eating, what you're doing, how's your body actually digesting the foods, all that kind of stuff. And the next step is, if you are looking to reintroduce foods like dairy, do it slowly. Like, don't just like go balls to the walls and like be walking down the street eating like a block of Parmesan cheese. Like, do it slowly. Start with maybe just like a tiny little square of goat cheese or sheep's milk, whatever. These are easier to digest, and you want to do it in small doses. You don't want to just like go ham. Your body will have a reaction, especially because you don't have those. If you eliminate something for so long, you don't have those digestive enzymes in your gut anymore. So when you have to rebuild that tolerance up. So that's why maybe if you do start eating things, you'll get a little bit bloated at first, but as you slowly reintroduce them, it should get easier, unless you have a dairy intolerance or you're lactose intolerant and all that kind of stuff. Then that's where other things come into play. But if you don't have that, just slowly reintroduce. Like for me, I started with, like I said, just like tiny little squares of goat's cheese, and then worked my way up from there. It wasn't like I was drinking like just all that kind of stuff. And honestly, guys, like, quality matters. Like, don't go and get those like bright yellow plastic wrapped kind of cheeses. If that's what you're getting into, you want to be getting the kind like raw, local, grass-fed, organic, the good stuff, like the farm to table kind of stuff that is good for your body, okay? Because if you're getting stuff that is processed, obviously that's going to irritate your gut. Like, that's not going to do anything good. And so you want to make sure that it is good, high quality, just like any animal products. Like, you want to be investing your money into that food. Okay, so we have removing gut irritants, gut irritating foods, adding in gut supporting foods, relaxing at your meals, rest and digest, and then reintroducing slowly. And then the last one is that if you're still having issues with these foods is when you want to test. You don't want to just like guess and go on these cleanses, and like I see so often like, oh, candida cleanses or parasite cleanses without actually testing or knowing what's going on, and we're doing like these crazy food sensitivity stuff, and like it's just insane. Like a healthy body can digest all these foods, like I said, but if you don't know for sure and you're still having issues, this is when you want to test. Like I can't say it enough, like test, don't guess, okay? Don't just start eliminating stuff and adding in these food fears and all that kind of stuff. Go and see, do you have an allergy to any of these foods? So I hope that helps a little bit. Just jumping on here super quick to drop some tips. I do this every single week over in our Happy Gut Gang, so come hang out there. And like I said, I dropped the link below of a free masterclass if you are suffering from food sensitivities and you're sick of this whole yo-yoing kind of diet thing of eliminations and restrictions and all that kind of stuff, and not really understanding it, like low FODMAP, all that kind of just like not really how it works. Head into that masterclass, find a time that works for you. It's about 60 minutes long. There are some cheeky little bonuses in there as well. So make sure you show up live, show up on time, bring your notes and pens, and learn more about this stuff. Because like I said, a healthy body can digest all sorts of food. And if you feel like you've been just eliminating foods and you're getting more and more sensitive to stuff and you're just mind blown by the whole thing, I really encourage you to check that out. And if you have any questions at all, by all means, you can shoot me a DM, or I guess we're on Facebook, so it's like PM, personal message, whatever. But yeah, and I have all that kind of stuff open and ready for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions at all, I'll chat with you soon. Happy healings.